Good morning. Am I on, Joe? Joe, am I on?
You gotta get close to it.
Good. Welcome to San Antonio. We- So, memory. Welcome to San Antonio. Home, also known as Military City, USA. We have 6 universities, and we have even a underground tunnel. If for the hotel, you'll see the River Walk, which was a WPA project. It now extends 7 miles to the south and 3 miles to the north. When I was asked to help organize this meeting, I wanted to push these to entice more Texas participants and more of the younger people who can grasp how to increase, in more RPA members, you might say, who could impart their knowledge of how to do a better job with across the nation. I want to thank our good friends from Texas Rail Advocates, from San Antonio, Rail Transportation Museum, help sponsoring and along with numerous RPA members who've also helped on that. So I get to introduce to you now our chairman, who has been very good at helping all of us, encourage us to be more active in this work. So, Madam Chair, please come forward.
I love it. Thank you, Bruce. Thanks for your leadership and your hard work helping us to organize this conference. We needed people like you with feet on the ground here in San Antonio really help us out. So we appreciate that. Your team has also helped grow, not across Texas. San Antonio's Tonians for rail transit has done a magnificent job getting young people involved and helping them see a brighter future for rail. My husband and I downloaded a travel guide for San Antonio while preparing for this trip. Here's what it says about transportation in San Antonio. Getting around San Antonio without a car is possible, albeit not exactly ideal. And this is, oh dear, okay. We're going to switch. Is this, were you able to hear me? You don't want me to start out. All right. Oh, that's much better. Thank you. I'm from Houston and I have family in Houston. I don't live there now, but I have family there and I frequently visit. And I have to say that based on my early experience and my experiences now many years later, that Texas highways and city streets were built largely for cars and not for people. And that's one of the reasons we're all here today, because we're talking about rail transit and ways to get people around without having to drive everywhere. And Texas efforts are to construct a high-speed rail between Houston and Dallas, as we all know, are in some flux, but there are very promising progress being made in other parts of the state on new long-distance routes and corridor ID projects. So you all in Texas do have your work to do, but I want to say we also owe a debt to Texas rail advocates, Tom Compson and Peter Lakota and others who helped plan this event. Peter, Texas Rail Advocates is a mighty force in our movement, and we're all very, very proud of the way you do things. You're a model for many of us. And what's especially great about you is your outreach to both freight and passenger rail interests. Getting them in the same room at the table at the same time is so important, and we thank you for that. You know, I can say y'all and mean it because I was born and raised in Texas and the daughter of native Houstonians. And I grew to love trains when I went off to college. And at the beginning of every school year, I would pack a very large Sears steamer trunk. I still own the trunk. And put it on the train and take the train to Denver. And I would reverse that process at the end of the school year and bring the trunk back with me. And it was wonderful. I always enjoyed it. I could sit back and relax and forget about all the courses and look forward to Christmas or whenever it was that I was going home for. But fast forward a couple decades, when I live in another small university town of Charlottesville, Virginia, and I have a son going off to college. Well, he is not so fortunate. He was not so fortunate as to have train access the way I was able to. Like many other large and small cities across America, we had lost most of our rail service by the time my son went to college. We had at one time in Charlottesville had up to 22, I think it was up to the mid 50s, had 22 daily connections by passenger rail to Washington, D.C. And by the time my son went to college, we had one left. And that was one daily train, unfortunately. And that train was one that often got blocked off from our station with very few seats available for reasons Amtrak can only tell you. So so, so fast forward again, and I spent many years in public service and on public boards and commissions, many of them involving transportation and urban planning and so forth. And so I decided that with the tools that I had learned, I would do something about more rail alternatives for our community. And I started an organization like SART and like Texas Rail Advocates in Virginia. And we organized the entire US 29 corridor from the Northern Virginia suburbs down to the North Carolina border. More than 20 jurisdictions worked together with us in a coordinated campaign for 5 years to get better rail service for our corridor. And in fact, we succeeded. And in 2009, we got a new train, Virginia's first state-supported train, intercity train, the Northeast Regional. And today, Virginia is funding 8 round-trip trains a day for 16 departures a day on 4 different routes, entirely funded, developed, and managed really by, it's operated by Amtrak in partnership with the state. But and we have a growing $4 billion effort going on now to completely transform passenger rail in Virginia. So things can happen, and I want that to encourage all of us. Um, Ours was some time ago, but there are people. The wonderful thing about these conferences is the number of you sitting in this room who are doing now exactly what we did back then. And you have your work cut out for you, yes, but you also have new tools that we didn't have back then. For example, social media, which was really not that accessible to us, although we did have a website. But the rest, and I know that's an indispensable tool, the most important thing you can do, though, is something we pounded away at, and that is contact your decision makers, the people in your General Assembly, your administration, the agency heads. They are the ones you need to be in touch with constantly. And the other thing you need to do is organize every station that you're looking at in your route. There, as local jurisdictions, get them working with you, all working together, really not working across purposes for this station and this third station, but working together for your corridor. And that's extremely important. So we're here today to celebrate and enhance each other's work and to learn from each other. And you're all part of a magnificent coalition, a national coalition that is the Rail Passengers Association. So I appreciate that you're here. You're working where you are in your own communities, your own states, your own regions to bring better rail alternatives. We are together at RailNation for the common purpose of becoming a true nation of rail.